Hello everyone, in this video we are going to see about the evolutionary models of software process. Software system evolves over time as requirements often change as development proceeds. Thus a straight line is to complete end product is not possible. However, a limited version must be delivered to meet the competitive pressure. Actually, what this point tells us about we cannot have a straight line from starting to the end to complete any process, any software process model. It has to be evolutionary in the sense you have to create some versions and versions or generation of the software in order to develop a perfect software. And usually a set of core product or system requirements is well understood, but the details and extension have to be defined. You need a process model that has been explicitly designed to accommodate a product that evolved over time. It is iterative that enables us to develop the increasingly more complete version of the software. So here at the stage we are not able to develop a software from beginning to end, so it needs some rounds and rounds of work then only we will be able to do the software process perfectly. So in order to do this work we have two types of model, namely the prototyping and spiral models. So here these two models are evolutionary models. So we all know that what is prototyping is creating some model. So when to use the model of this prototype model is customer defines a general objective but not identify detailed requirements of other functions and the features, or the developer may be unsure about the efficiency of an algorithm, the form that computer human interaction should take. So here when it is not able to specify the exact definition of the particular function or the feature, so we are supposed to create a model and then we have to work on the model, and by this we can learn how to improve the software process. So how to make this prototyping, what step we can take is we have to start this step by communication between the stakeholders. Who is the stakeholder? Who is the customer is the stakeholder. So a communication should happen between the customer and the developer to identify the requirements and find out the outline areas, that means the milestones, and when it has to take place. A quick plan for prototyping and modeling, that is quick design, should occur. So quick design should always focuses only on the some aspects of the fast software where only the end user can use, like an interface and output. Design leads to the construction of a prototype which will be deployed and evaluated. Stakeholders' comments will be used to refine the requirements. So initially a model is roughly defined and designed, and then there is a quick model with some abstract level of modeling, and then it will be given to the stakeholder and they will just have a look on that, and they will, if it is possible, they will operate it and they will try to find out some thing that can be improved. So accordingly the requirements can be refined, and finally it will lead to a good design and an efficient software. So here both the stakeholders and the software engineers like the prototype paradigm, because they give the user a feel of the actual system. You can define a model and they can also operate it, and they can also learn the behavior of the model. So once that behavior can be learned, it is satisfiable for both the developer as well as for the stakeholder who is the customer. Okay, so now how this model works, this is a diagram of this model. So a communication takes place between the stakeholder and the developer, and they prepare a quick plan, and based on this quick plan they develop a quick design, and then based on this quick design they will construct the prototype. Okay, and then deployment, delivery and feedback. So once they develop the model, they will be able to deploy the model in the customer site, and it will be delivered to them, and they'll be able to operate it to some extent, and they'll be able to give some feedback on that. So that feedback will be communicated again to the developer, and this process is a cyclic process, so that the refinement will take place phase by phase. That is called as a prototyping. Another model is the spiral model. This is also one of the evolutionary model. This gives the cyclic approach. So we all know that the software development process have the basic things, which is the communication, planning, modeling, construction and deployment. Okay, so here what is the difference between the previous model and this model is there everything is done by the quick plan, everything is done on a quick design to make a fast learning of the process by designing the prototype or the simulation of the expected model. Okay, but here in spiral model every phase of the work is done in a partial way. For example, the planning. So first the communication starts between the stakeholder and the developer, and once they communicate, they understood to some level of the requirement specification, they will just make some planning. So the planning includes the estimation, scheduling and risk analysis. So what may be the estimate, what is the cost estimate, what is the schedule, staff estimate, and what is the resource estimate. Everything will be estimated to some particular extent, and then accordingly the schedule will be done. So which milestone has to be achieved at what time, and then if at all that is achieved, what is the risk in this. So all these things are planned in the planning phase, and then it will be given into a modeling phase, which is the analysis and design. So based on this estimation and the scheduling, they will be able to analyze and design a model of the software, and then once the model is designed, they will be able to construct the codings. So they make a coding to some level, and then they'll start testing it, and then this testing will be done and it will be delivered to the developer or the consumer site. So once it is deployed, they'll be able to operate on it and give some feedback on the delivery. So this feedback will be again communicated. So here this we can see, it will first, the level starts, it goes to the outer to the inner level. That means this is a starting point. First a minimum of communication has happened, and then planning is done, and then the modeling is done, and then based on the construction is done, and then deployment is over. This one phase is over. Now based on this first level experience, they will go to the second level of the communication to improve the model. So they plan little better, and then the estimation, everything will be better than the previous one, and they model it, construct it and deploy it. Again some more improvement can be done. So accordingly this process goes in a cyclic fashion, little by little. So this is called as a spiral model. Okay, so that is what given in these things. Here we are using the cyclic approach of the software process development. That's incremental growing a system degree of the definition and then implementation. The other is the set of anchor point milestones. There we are setting some milestones, that is the scheduling and how much they are able to achieve the milestones in the given schedule. Okay, so here first the clockwise direction, it goes from the specification to the prototype until then to the software version, and based on the feedback this will go in a repeated fashion until they come to some satisfactory level of the software process design. Okay, and now what are the three concerns on this evolutionary model is, first concern is the prototyping possesses a problem to project planning because of the uncertain number of cycles required to construct the product. So initially they start with the prototyping, but after some time they should be able to come out with some good solution in a limited period of time. So they are not certain about the number of cycles they need to develop the prototype. That is the first concern. And the second concern is it does not establish the maximum speed of the evolution. So naturally when the speed cannot be established in advance, we're not able to develop or deploy the software on time. So here the speed will be affected by this type of process. And the third one is the software processes should be focused on flexibility and extensibility rather than on high quality. We should prioritize the speed of the development over zero defects. Extending the development in order to reach the high quality code could result in a late delivery of the product when the opportunity has disappeared. So here, even though we are aiming at a good software product quality, here we have to give the priority for the speed of the development, because when it is done late, we cannot be able to do the things in an effective manner. So we should focus mainly on the flexibility and the extensibility rather than the high quality. So these are all the three concerns while using this evolutionary model of the software process development. So here the spiral model and then the prototype model are the two evolutionary models that are used in the software process development.